Hello. Hi, everybody. I checked. Turtle Island is in, well, when I checked, it was a couple hours. So, be right with you. Be right there. Meeting. So, put other kitties in. Oh. Hi, everybody. Hi. Hi, Pam, Arco, Kathy, Joni, baby girl, Donna, Truth Seeker. Hi. Got my Coke shirt on. Enjoy the little things. Oh, God. It's kind of like a Coca-Cola. It's my daughter's. I borrow her clothes. Okay, now I gotta. I'm trying to fix things. All right. Hi, Shannon. Hi, Angelique. Hi, Shelly. I got a Jessica White. Hi. Sorry. Is the music still going, you guys? Phew, now I'm hot. You guys, is the music still going? Oh, wait, I'm not on comments. Let me know if the music is still going. There you go. Music stopped. Oh, thank goodness. Wow. Because once I was talking for like 5 whole minutes and the music kept going. I guess I had it in loop, but the thing is, you guys, I can't hear it over here. I can't. Not one little peep of music, but you guys could hear it. Okay, so I had it all ready to go, and now it's not. Goodness gracious. Turtle Islands tonight. Will you guys call and save my ass? Because I'm going to need it. Holy cow, am I going to need it? After what happened last time, you guys? And I can't call in and save myself. I can't donate any money to save myself. Yeah, it's kind of scary. But it's okay, right? Hi, Tootie. Hi, Green Goblin. All right, let's not put each other down in here. You came back. You were really nice, Green Goblin. Remember, we're not going to set people up or say things like that in here. I don't want to have to block you, Green Goblin. Please don't. All right. Hi, everybody. Hello. Hold on here. Did you guys see the kitten video? Was that the flippin' funniest, cutest thing ever? I slept in my clothes. That's why I had the same cherry shirt on. I slept in my clothes. Oh, this is so annoying. Just like, good grief. There we go. I need these 3 dots to pull up my history to get to what I want to. Okay. So more depressing stuff. Crimes that will never, ever get solved. Isn't that just lovely? So we've got Jack the Ripper, which we're not going to talk about. We've already discussed that. Betty Shanks is on here. Here's a new one. And I warmed up my coffee. What do you guys think? Whoops. Isn't it funny? Hi, everybody. Okay, let's get along now. No music, all good. So Art Go Show is the mod that I have in here for now, unless Mab comes in. And yeah. So Maria G and Destiny. Yeah. Truth Sakers, hi, going live with Case. Who, you are, or I am, or Jessica White? Yes, I'm talking about you. Bye. Just, come on, you guys. Like, fight on Messenger. Fight on Facebook. There's people dying. Babies getting decapitated. People are taking, those Hamas, they're taking people's phones and then murdering people they love with their phones, putting it out for the world to see, including them. Hi, Raven. Hi, Kathy. There was this grandson. He's like late 20s. He lives in Canada. He literally saw his grandmother get shot multiple times while the guy was over her with the gun. Streamed live on her phone, you guys. Life can be too short. Mm-hmm. You know, another boy, a 10-year-old boy, at gunpoint was taken out of his house and then had to go knock on all the neighbors. Can you imagine how that made him feel? Telling them they had to step outside for some reason or open the door for him, I guess. And they did. And they all got shot. And I bet you anything he was murdered at the end of it. Like, they use people against each other over there that love and care about each other, neighbors. Like, if I really try to wrap my head around it, it's really upsetting. Anyway, so we don't need to quibble in here, right? Let's just not. All right, so this is the murder of Jean Marie Townsen. Why is this? All right. The night of September 14, 1954, 21-year-old Jean Marie Townsen left a party and was found the next morning in South Ruislip, England, strangled by her own scarf. Yeah, so if things keep happening in chat, Art Go Show will let me know. Art, find the stop signs. I don't care if you put 20 in there. I mean, I look over now and then, but let me know what's going on. And if we have to block, then we will, okay? Or I will. Or no, you will. But I'll let you. If we need to block, we'll block. If it's a simple timeout, because I'm only tolerating one time. Hi, BM Turtle Madness. Hi, you guys. I looked. I didn't see Dumpling was on either. What? I muted? Oh, okay. Oh, thank God. Okay, so Jean Marie Townsen left a party in 1954, 21 years old. September 14th, was found the next morning in South Ruislip, England, strangled by her own scarf. Rumor abounded that an American soldier was responsible, but the police never identified a single suspect. The case was reopened again in 1982, following several anonymous tips. In 1982? But the case went cold again and remains unsolved. All of these creepy urban legends have an actual real-life grain of truth. Hi, you guys. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at this huge. I hope it stays here long enough. It's a pillow, but it's a bed. Look at that. I mean, that's a full-grown woman on a huge pillow. Of course, that's Temu. I like Temu. I have lady after lady, at least 3 now. Will you click on this, sign this? Well, I did the first time. And I was choosing those flowered pillows, you know, the flowered ones. Oh, I thought that'd be so cool to have in my room. And I think some black leggings or something. And then all of a sudden, I got that and a third free thing. I don't know what it is. But then all of a sudden, I have to pay for 2 other things. Or maybe I got 3 other things for only $34. It's a really good deal. And their stuff isn't like inexpensively made, because a friend of mine sent me some stuff from Temu, turtle stuff and other things. Anyway, it's not cheap, like, you know, breaking and that. Anyway, I don't have $34, not now, you know. So Temu, excuse me, might be a fun thing to do, right? When you have the money. Hi, Michael Blade. It's a ripoff, LOL. Well, I mean, I don't know, like those flowered pillows, they'd be, gosh, I keep belching. I'm sorry from this coffee. They'd be $60 up here at Fred Meyer. To get them for like $10, $15 is, or free on a wheel. But then you've got to buy other stuff. So, all right, you guys. Green Goblin, LOL. Okay. All right, so I hope it says more than that. You know, this is beginning to be a pet peeve of mine. You know, they throw in these gosh darn advertisements in the middle of stuff. Okay? I don't want jokes right now. It's asking me if I want damn jokes. All right. Now, that was such a quick thing on Marie Townsen that I'm going to do what I did yesterday, and I am going to look up her name and read a little more, because for one, it'll make it a tad more interesting. Oh dear. And of course, there she is. Townsend engaged. British movie tone, YouTube. Looks like a real picture of her. It's only 1 minute and 2 seconds. I'm going to play it. Anyway, vote to save my ass. Hi, Destiny Rose. If we have any problems in chat, put up big signs. Let me know. I've already discussed it once. I don't want to have to block a certain person in here. Things seem to be going good now, okay? But I'm going to play this.
Dangerous coasts, ask any seaman. News of the engagement of Group Captain Peter Townsend and Mademoiselle Marie-Luce Charmaine was naturally a powerful attraction for the cameras. Together, they gave a press conference at Clairvoix, the home of Marie-Luce's parents not far from
Guys, this isn't the Townsend that I talked about.
Accompanied Peter Townsend
I'm
on his recent
embarrassed.
round the world tour. Now they plan to get married in a few months' time.
Oh, Lord, you guys.
After the wedding, they hope to live in Paris.
Wait, I can't even turn it off. Okay, so I read about a Marie Townsen I saw the name Townsend. I thought it was her, and it's some British lady getting engaged in England. I should have known. She has to go. Green Goblin. Tina, we have a troll named BM. No, no. I know who that is. And I know who some people are. Um, yeah, please, everyone, if you don't like the other person's comments, block or ignore. Yeah, hit the three little dots. Okay, we're not children in here. I'm not going to treat you guys like children. All right, so that's what I want you to do. BM Turtle Madness, stop signs, and love faces. Yeah, we must ignore it unless it bothers me. Okay. Let's get along, class. Class, let's get along, class. God. Oh, Lord. Hey, if you guys didn't see the kitten video, I think I have too much darky orangey something going on here. If you guys didn't see the kitten video that I did today, watch it. Gosh, it's cute. Doing the little, you know how cats bounce backwards and puff up the kittens? And they're touching things they haven't touched. And after I turned it off, they were drinking water out of the big bowl, you know, and it was going up their nose, but they were thirsty. And then one of them was really afraid, and I put it right up there, and all three of them were drinking. So next time I film the kittens, I'm going to film them drinking water. It was too darn cute. Too cute. Okay then, BM Turtle Madness, thank you. I saw the kitten video. They're so cute. Are they the funniest? And I love them all. Don't underestimate me when I say that, but I'm telling you, the one with the white paws and the white on his belly. Then there's a darker one, which is named Shadow. And then there's the real little fluff ball that's all over the place, very calico-y. More calico-y than the one I'm talking about with white on its belly mostly. That one's Sally, the one but we don't even know if they're boys or girls yet. We don't know. My daughter named them. And but that one with the white on his belly, he seemed to be getting as much milk in the beginning. I was concerned. But his whiskers are white. He's my favorite. She or he. That's Tulip. We're hoping that one is a girl, so we can just keep it named Tulip. All right. So I just pulled up Townsend engaged as a complete utter mistake. So let me good grief. Oh, you guys, yesterday was crazy. First of all, the look on my face, I look scared. Lori Shortlegs in chat is like, I think she scared herself. I'm looking at literal crime videos that, what was it called? Dicelop hiker murders or whatever. 9 people were slaughtered. It showed one guy, he was the blonde guy. His mouth was frozen open like that. His eyes were open with ice in him. He was laying on his back. They're all black and white. Then there was another one of the woman. I went back and looked at how she looked at normal, really kind of pretty and just regular shaped face. She was all swollen like this to a pulp. I mean, oof. So I'm almost glad the internet went wanky right then. And it was a good 2 hours, and I was going to end it after those pictures anyway, but we didn't really need to see anymore. But yeah. Okay. Okay, you guys, come on, Green Goblin, knock it off. Let's get your mind off the nastiness. Why don't you put in here what state you're from? She scams candles on her channel. So you've been around for a while looking at things. I'm so glad you're doing lives, Tina. You do great. Thank you, Catlin. Thank you so much. I'm happy every single one of you are here. All right, so this Jean Marie Townsen, 21-year-old, lived with her parents. I wish Maria G was in chat because she's from the UK. I wonder if she's heard of this. She was a theatrical costumier on London's West End. Townsen spent the evening of September 14th with friends at a club near her work. She left at about 11 p.m. and was last seen leaving the South Ruislip station. Another woman, you guys, like that Betty Shanks, that was leaving the tram, they call it over there, instead of the train. Hi, Tattooed Rebel. Hi. More depressing stories, Tattooed, I've got here. Let's see. Okay. So it was written that her body would be found nearby the next morning on September 15th. Townsend was, for the most part, fully clothed. Only her shoes and her stockings had been removed and placed by her body. That's so weird. There were no signs of sexual assault, and the cause of death was strangulation. Murdered with her own scarf, you guys. That's so sad. People wore a lot of scarves back in, like, what? The 50s and maybe the 40s, but definitely the 50s. And this happened in, did I say 57 on the other page? Now I don't remember. It was 50 something though. 1954, 1957. And the scarf was black and gold, and it was silk. A witness later came forward and stated that they had heard a woman screaming the night Townsend had been unalived. Most importantly, they had also heard two male voices arguing, and one of them had an American accent. Wow. Yeah, Tattoo Rebel helped me with StreamYard and getting mods out in without. Hi, Christy Lynette. Yeah, so he not having to deal with the URLs, because honestly, that didn't even barely work. Okay, so according to Ruislip Online, American servicemen stationed nearby became the murder investigation's focus shortly after several women came forward and said they had been approached by strange men close to where Townsend's body had been found. The My London, which is a magazine, not a magazine, a newspaper probably, reports that they specifically mentioned a man with a high forehead who had an American accent and an American car. The Mystery Box, another news outlet place or whatever, reports that police were later given clothes from a dry cleaner that were blood-stained and had been brought in by a man with a similar description. Police would take over 600 statements during the investigation via unsolved murders. They have unsolved murders over there. In the UK, they believe that Townsen did not know her killer and was most likely offered a ride after she left the station or was forced into a car. Ultimately, police said they did not believe an American serviceman was involved after all. Despite these details, Townsen's case would go cold. In 1982, it was revealed that there had been several anonymous calls made regarding Townsen's murder. Nothing would come from them, however. Her clothes were later tested for DNA in the 1990s to no avail. Oddly, in 2005, a request for Townsen's files via the Freedom of Information Act was refused. As of 2022, her case still remains unsolved. Well, I mean, that's really sad. I know that I say that like after almost every single one. Goodness. So in a world that tends to frown, hey everybody. Hi, Sean B. Yeah, smash that like. That would be so nice. In a world that tends to frown on murdering your fellow man, serial killers are often considered the worst of the worst. Yet they're very, very real. It's borderline unbelievable that anyone would choose to kill people over and over again. It's even harder to believe that there are actually plenty of people like that out there. According to The Atlantic, the FBI believes that under 1% of all unsolved murders, under 1%, are the work of serial killers. Well, this was written or updated or whatever it says in 2021, so maybe it's accurate. Meanwhile, Thomas Hargrove of the Murder Accountability Project thinks that as of 2019, the U.S. alone had something like 2,100 unidentified serial killers running around. Hi, Jamie. Hi. No, it's okay. No one's late. No one's ever late. Not coming over here. You get here when you want to be here or can get here, period. Wow. Okay. That's depressing. 2,100 unidentified serial killers running around since 2019, you guys. Keep your darn doors locked. Don't assume just because you're in a nice neighbor. You know what I mean? I mean, even people that deliver packages and stuff, I don't open the door to them. I say, leave it outside, or I don't know, like you can't even like really ask for a card. You could get little cards made off and then have access to someone's place. I've been like this the whole 22 years we've lived here. My kids don't ever say, who is it? Come in. No. And when I'm here with him, which is all the time, I go to the door. I deal with answering the door. And my kids are grown, but you know. Okay, so the author and former police detective Michael Arntfield thinks that the number could be as high as 4,000 serial killers since 2019. Isn't that lovely, you guys? Good grief. Obviously, we have no way to know for sure which of these undiscovered serial killers are most terrifying because, well, they haven't been caught yet. Still, we definitely do know about some of them, and what we know is pretty scary. Let's take a look at some of the most dangerous serial killers who are still out and about in 2020. Yikes. How did we get on this? Oh, okay. Well, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit on it and possibly cover it tomorrow. The serial killer stuff tomorrow. Oh wait, I am on it. Duh. All right, I'm going to go back and gee, you guys. Well, I don't know who that is. I'm trying to, it was 1954 that Jean Marie Townsen. Did I say Marie? It's Jean Marie Townsen. All right, well, that's really sad. Gosh. Okay, so hi, Pittsburgh nurse. Hi, everybody. Hi, you dirty rat. Green Goblin rocks. My day is going amazing, says Green Goblin. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming over. Thank you. Okay, so there's another lady tied in with this murder of Jean Marie Townsen, they think. So I'm going to read it. Okay, so her case remains unsolved. Investigators found possible connections with recent cases of harassment of women and attacks on women in the area, and perceived similarities with unsolved murders of women in West Germany. Wow, maybe like scarves were used on the women over there or something, because they think it's an American serviceman, you guys, over in the UK that's doing this. A possibility that the then recent murder of another woman in London was connected to Townsend's case has been raised. Townsend's murder was also subsequently connected to an attack on another woman and with the 1957 murder of a young mother. Both these cases occurred at a distance of a few miles from the location where Townsend was killed. In 1971, an unsolved murder took place near South Ruislip, using the same murder method with Townsend's murder. Press reports of the time pointed out the similarities. So, that's bizarre. So I'm going to read the first part and then read you the little other part because you've already heard this. In 2005, a family friend of the Townsends applied for the access to the police case files under the Freedom of Information Act. I said that. The request was denied and a decision was made to withhold the files from public inspection until 2031. We're in 3, so that's 7 years from now. The request brought new publicity to the cold case. At the time, a new theory was publicized implicating an expatriate Italian nobleman in the murder. The authorities dismissed this theory due to lack of evidence. Wow. Okay, so some of these women that came forward with nearly being attacked and all of this. One of the women, Miss Jacqueline Cliff, told reporters how she had been approached repeatedly by a man, aged about 30 with a high forehead, who spoke with an American accent and drove an American-type car. Another young woman, Joan Galla, reported being attacked by a man late at night on Victoria Road on the Saturday before the murder. Her description of her attacker included the fact that he had a high forehead. It was reported that several young women had been murdered in West Germany in similar circumstances in the early 1950s and with their bodies left by the side of the German Autobahn. Meanwhile, some local residents responded by organizing patrols to escort women to and from the station late at night. At the inquest, the coroner expressed his surprise that apart from the obvious symptoms of asphyxiation, there were no signs of a struggle or that Townsend had physically resisted her attacker. Another young woman, Ellen Carlin, had been murdered in London earlier that very same month. Carlin was alleged to have been working as a prostitute in Pimlico and was strangled shortly after being seen with a man in a U.S. Air Force uniform. Whether the police suspected that the two killings were linked is not known. Some 3 weeks after Jean Townsend's murder, Mrs. Doris Venel reported being followed and attacked by a man outside North Harrow Tube Station on the Metropolitan line and approximately 3 miles from South Ruislip Station while returning home just after midnight. You guys getting along? Oh, thank you for putting trigger warning. Hi, honey bunny. You guys, if just hit the 3 dots so you don't have to see the negative comments, right? Hi, you guys. Her attacker had boarded at Baker Street and sat watching her intently until following her off the train at North Harrow. Mrs. Venel challenged him and managed to get away, but only after a struggle during which she tore some buttons off her assailant's coat. Once again, the man was described as having a high forehead. 3 years later, in 1957, a young mother called Muriel Maitland was brutally murdered in Cranford Woods near Heathrow Airport, a few miles from Ruislip. It was reported that police considered the possibility of a link with the Townsen case, but it seems that nothing came of this. Good grief, you guys. In June of 1971, I think I already said this one, right? South Ruislip was the scene of another murder. Sunday, June 13th, the naked body of Gloria Booth was discovered on a recreation ground off Name Road, half a mile from the South Ruislip Underground Station, a mile from the scene of the Townsen killing. The 29-year-old housewife had died from strangulation, and it appeared that once again a scarf had been used. This led at least one journalist to refer to the area as Ruislip's Murder Mile. Okay, well, I mean, a bunch of phone calls came in October of 1982. So they tried to reopen the case. It's a different word than sad. That's a bummer. I don't know. That's too, okay. Have you guys heard of this one? The Love Me Tender Murders? Love Me Tender, the Elvis song, you know? The Love Me Tender Murders? Wait, Jimmy goes live at 9:30. Oh, he's going live at 9:30 Eastern, so that's 6:30 my time. So that's an hour and 20 minutes. That's good. Call and call and call, and please save me. Save me. I want to stay on the island a little longer if I can. You know what I mean? Oh, God. "15-year-old Barbara and her 12-year-old sister Patricia disappeared into thin air after seeing the film Love Me Tender in Chicago on December 28, 1956. That right there is just really sad to me. It really is upsetting. I mean, I think it's just reading these, like, every day, people just going to a movie and disappearing. Like, you know, when I was a teen, I never thought of that. Never. Never. Fear didn't even enter my mind. Trick-or-treating, you know, I mean, it was in the 80s, but still, and 70s. Or no, mainly 70s for the trick-or-treating. What followed was one of the most labor-intensive missing persons cases in Chicago history, according to crime historian Ray Johnson. A month later, their bodies were discovered lying naked by the side of a local road. Although the coroner claimed the girls seemingly died from exposure within 4 hours after their disappearance, his report was widely criticized and takes partial blame for the case having gone hopelessly cold. That's just pissy. You know? Their last name was, the sister's last name was Grimes. They were 2 of 7 children born to Joseph Cornelius and Loretta Marcella. They went to view the screening of the Elvis Presley film Love Me Tender at a Brighton Park theater. Oh my gosh, you guys, here's their picture. I don't know. Whenever I see a face, it just makes it, you know. What was it? 16 and 13? They got the same smile, don't they? Okay, so this was in Chicago, Illinois. In 1956. It was the largest missing persons investigations in the history of Chicago at the time. They were unalived within 5 hours of their last confirmed sighting. Both girls had died of secondary shock. Numerous individuals attested to having seen the girls alive in the weeks between the night of December 28 and the subsequent discovery of their bodies. What? So it shattered the innocence of Chicago back then. They were inseparable, described as being inseparable sisters, attentive students at the Thomas Kelly High School and St. Maurice's Catholic School, which they respectively attended. They are also known to have been devoted fans of Presley, and both had recently joined his official fan club. This particular occasion was the 11th time the girls had viewed this particular Presley film. Thank you, Jamie. Hi, Rock54. Hi, you guys. Hi, Mary Jane. I have asked a few people for help and got told no. Help to do what, Truth Seeker? I'm still new at this and my channel's very small. I just made it over 206. Well, that's good though. I mean, you know, remember, every night except maybe 4, the entire year, I was up on Dolly Vision. So I became known that way, really. Yeah, everybody sub up to Truth Seeker. All right. So since it's kind of nitpicky in here with Green Goblin, just hit the buttons, you guys, and ignore it, okay? Yeah. I mean, it's not outright horrid. You know what I mean? So the sisters left the residence at about 7:30 p.m., having promised their mother they would be home before midnight. The Brighton Theater was located approximately 1.5 miles from the girls' McKinley Park home, and Barbara and Patricia are presumed to have had approximately $2.50 in their possession at the time they left their home. with Barbara having been instructed to keep 50 cents of this money in the zipper of her wallet should the two girls opt to view the second screening of this film, scheduled to be shown at the theater that evening. It is unknown how the sisters actually traveled to the Brighton Theater on this particular date, although they had invariably either walked or traveled by bus to this destination on previous occasions. A school friend of Patricia named Dorothy Weinert would later inform investigators she had been seated behind the girls with her own younger sister during the film. Although Weinert and her sister had left the theater at the intermission of the double feature screened at the Brighton Theater that night, at approximately 9:30 p.m., as they had done so, Dorothy saw the Grimes sisters queuing, Queuing, to purchase popcorn. The two had seemed in good spirits, and neither Weinert's sister noticed anything untoward in their demeanor. Both sisters stayed to view the second screening of Love Me Tender, thus meaning they would be expected to return home at approximately 11:45. When the girls had not arrived home by midnight, their mother, Loretta, sent their older sister, Teresa, age 17, and brother Joey, age 14, to wait by the bus stop located closest to the family home for their arrival. After 3 successive buses had driven by without either girl alighting at the designated stop, both siblings returned home, having by this stage already unsuccessfully contacted the girls' friends in the hope her daughters may be at one of these addresses. And upon seeing the return of Teresa and Joey to the family home, without their sisters, Loretta Grimes filed missing person reports on her daughters with the Chicago Police Department at 2:15 a.m. on December 29. That's my son's birthday. So local volunteers, the police, everybody went out. 15,000 flyers were distributed. 300,000 people were questioned. 2,000 individuals subjected to serious interrogation pertaining to their potential culpability. Although the 2 arrests and charges brought against individuals who confessed to the crime subsequently collapsed. One individual, Edward Bedwell, asserted he had been coerced into giving a confession after being subjected to a prolonged interrogation. Oh, weird. Despite police efforts and extensive media appeals producing many reported sightings of the girls, little in the way of hard evidence was yielded, although several teenagers who had been at the Brighton Theater on December 28 did inform investigators they had seen the sisters conversing with, then entering a car driven by a young man whose physical appearance had been similar to that of Elvis Presley. Are you kidding? The vehicle described by these eyewitnesses was consistently described as being a Mercury model. The intro music for me anyway, Truth Seeker, up on StreamYard, you go over to, there's comments, banners, brand, private chat, at least on my iPad, and you go to brand. You go all the way down, and they give you little different clips of music you can try, or you can go to YouTube Studio Library, and it's in the menu thing on the left where the little notes are, in the menu, and you hit on that, and yeah, you just hit on it near the end of the song, and it downloads, and it just takes a few seconds, and then it's pulled up in this library thing where you choose music down on the bottom of your brand thing. Good grief. Prior to the implementation of the task force, and despite protests from the girls' parents, several investigators initially assigned to the case theorized the sisters had either run away from home or were voluntarily staying with boyfriends. Although the sisters were front page news by December 31st, their disappearance would only be seriously considered as a missing persons case and thus appropriately treated by such. By investigators after approximately 1 week had passed without family and friends receiving any form of contact from either girl. So they didn't even really treat it as a missing persons thing for a whole week. Nonetheless, extensive media appeals were conducted, imploring both sisters to return home and for any eyewitnesses to contact police. Resultingly, numerous alleged sightings of the sisters would be reported to police as late as January 9, and these reports often describe one or both of the girls as having been seen in various business establishments. These sightings supported several investigators' initial theories the girls had opted to leave home of their own accord. Theories also abounded that the sisters may possibly have traveled to Nashville, Tennessee to see Presley in concert, or that they had simply left their home of their own volition as a means of emulating Presley's lifestyle. In the event her daughters had actually been kidnapped, Loretta Grimes publicly pleaded, "If someone is holding them, please let the girls call me. I'll forgive them from the bottom of my heart." On January 19, 1957, an official statement was issued from Presley's Graceland estate. This televised statement read, "If you are good Presley fans, you'll go home and ease your mother's worries." Presley is also known to have made a direct radio plea to the Grimes sisters, imploring the girls to return home to their mother. Can you believe this, you guys? Wow. So I'm just seeing Green Goblin. Guys, I'm going to a hospital. I feel like unaliving myself. Bye. Maybe this person is trying to get me to say the word, so I'll lose my channel. I don't know. I'm not saying that for sure. Or maybe this person really does want to unalive themselves. Hi, Soul Shine Mimi. Well, what you need to do then, Green Goblin, is come in here and make friends and talk about things, like Maria G's daughter tried to unalive herself 7 times at school. She was horribly bullied. And the mother, Maria G, from the UK, who's a really good friend of mine, is able to reach out on here and get some comfort and words of wisdom and caring. And you can have the same if you want it. All right. Well, so isn't that something, you guys? Even Elvis, was it him himself? Presley is also known to have made a direct radio plea to the Grimes sisters in 1957. Oh my gosh, you guys. Discovery on January 22nd, 1957. Okay, so they disappeared on like the 28th or whatever, 29th, whatever. So we're looking at a whole 22, 23 days later, little over 3 weeks. Following a rapid thaw of recent snowfall, a construction worker named Leonard Prescott spotted what he later described as being these flesh-colored things behind a guardrail as he drove along a rural country road named German Church Road, approximately 200 feet east of County Line Road in unincorporated Willow Springs. Initially unsure of the origin of what he had seen and believing the forms may be mannequins, Prescott later returned to the site with his wife, Marie, who fainted upon taking a closer look at what her husband had earlier seen. The forms were actually the nude, frozen bodies of the Grimes sisters, and the Prescotts immediately reported their findings to the Willow Springs Police Department. The girls' bodies lay upon a flat, horizontal section of snow-covered ground directly behind the guardrail, which extended for just 10 feet before the incline of the embankment of Devil's Creek. Wow. Barbara lay on her left side with her legs drawn slightly up toward her torso. Patricia lay on her back with her body covering her sister's head. There's a picture, you guys. You can't see it real close up, but... And her own head turned sharply to the right. It is believed the sisters had most likely been driven to this location in a car, with their bodies then being dragged or lifted out of the vehicle, then placed or thrown behind the guardrail. Oh gosh, you guys. Trigger warning, trigger warning. Okay, leave the show if you guys don't want to hear this. 3 wounds resembling those typically inflicted by ice picks were discovered upon Barbara's chest, and injuries resembling blunt force trauma were visible upon her face and head, while numerous injuries resembling bruises were discovered upon Patricia's face and body. The girl's father, Joseph Grimes, was driven to the crime scene to formally identify both bodies. Oh my God. Following Joseph's initial positive identification of the bodies, over 160 police officers from several suburban Chicago police departments, assisted by numerous local volunteers, conducted a search of the crime scene with the additional assistance of the forest preserves. This search uncovered little or no real evidence linked to the crime. Any potential link, any item discovered at the crime scene had to the murders has never been determined, and the search itself was later criticized due to those organizing the search allowing untrained individuals to trample over any evidence that may have been at the location. Hi, Olana. Hi there. Okay, so this is what I'm going to say, Green Goblin. I didn't think I was going to give people a bunch of chances, but you have to stop insulting people in my chat. If you don't, from this moment on, the next time I look over and see it, or tomorrow for that matter, I'm going to tell Jamie that she can block you, because now you're kind of insulting her. All right? Whether you're a troll, whether you're, I don't know who you are. You could be a 10-year-old little boy or a 98-year-old man or woman. I don't know. But you're calling names. The last one here is Jamie is a grasshopper. Are you going to do it again? I'm going to sit here because you obviously don't want to be here. Yeah, it's Rapper. Hi, Michelle Finch. He being mean. Let's see. Let's just see if he does it one more time after 5:33. Goblin is Rapper. I don't know who Rapper is. Rapper J? That's the only rapper person I know. I'm not polite, am I? I just slurped. Time him out. He trolls. Usually he's a nice, funny troll. He said everything in here, Michelle, to I'm going to go on a live myself. I don't know if he's trying to get me to say, Sue, you know what? Be nice, Gobby. To another day saying nobody likes me. People call me ugly. Jamie is a grasshopper. Jamie is a grasshopper. It's over and over and over again. 5:34, 5:34. Hi, CMBRX. Smoothie. Who's that? Tina, I don't know, but chat is saying Rapper and Green Goblin are the same. Is that true? Anyone know? Who's Rapper? Rapper JJ? Hi, Wendy. Jimmy's going live at 8:30, right? So that's a little less than an hour for me. Green Goblin's been in here at least 4 or 5 times, maybe more, since I started, because he's acting ugly. We can block him personally. He's giving you watch time. He's giving me watch time? What does that mean? Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Yeah, it's just constant. Yeah, it's constant and constant and constant. It's gone on from 5:34 to 5:35. All right, Green Goblin. I hope you take care of yourself. Jamie, you can block him, please. Him or her. He's always in Dolly on Team Rose. Ann's too with repeating. Well, I mean, you know, I don't know if it's just an intention thing. I don't know if it's, you know, what it is, but go ahead and block him. Bye, Green Goblin. You tried for a while. People have left because he won't shut up. Jamie, did you block him? Yep, got it, Tina. Okay, Michelle is a kangaroo. Yeah, he just wants to bring up names of different people. Just a minute, my son's knocking. Okay, so hi, can I kick it? Okay, good job, Jamie. All right. All right. So, these are the autopsies. Oh, wait, here's the picture, you guys. It's not too graphic. It's black and white. If it was, I wouldn't show it. See? That's the railing. This one at an angle has to be the older one, and then that's the younger one. It's so unfair. Now I feel like crying. Why do these fuckers have to just take people's lives like this? You know, they were good girls, good in school, loved each other, had to die together. It's just fucking sick. I don't care if I'm swearing. I don't fucking care. You know, really. Okay, these are the autopsies. The descendants' autopsies were performed the day following their discovery. These autopsies would be performed by 3 experienced forensic pathologists who, following a 5-hour examination of each body, were unable to reach agreement on either a date or a cause of death. These experts did determine via an examination of the sisters' stomach contents that contained the approximate proportions of the last known meals and subsequent snacks the sisters had eaten on the evening of December 28, that both girls had most likely died within approximately 5 hours of the time they had last been seen alive at the Brighton Theater, thus fixing the most likely time of death in each instance to have been either the late evening of December 28 or the early morning of December 29. That's my son's birthday, December 29. The cause of death in each case was ruled as being a combination of shock and exposure, although each pathologist reached this conclusion via a process of eliminating other causes. In addition, these experts concluded that many of the wounds discovered upon the girls' bodies had most likely been inflicted by rodents, with the actual puncture wounds having most likely been inflicted after death. What? Wait, I don't. The ice pick wounds were done after death, they're saying. No obviously fatal wounds were discovered upon either girl's body. What? What, you guys? This just doesn't make any damn sense. No. How did they not find that sooner? I don't know. That's a good question because, well, didn't they say some of the snow melted? So maybe there was snow over the bodies, but also maybe they weren't put there right away. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. How on earth can they say there's no obvious fatal wounds if there's in the... Okay, and toxicology reports revealed that neither girl had been drunk, drugged, or poisoned prior to her death. No items of the sisters' clothing were ever found although their bodies were described by the pathologist as being markedly clean. Oh, God. The autopsies would also discover that Barbara had likely engaged in sexual intercourse, either consensually or unconsensually, around the time of her death, although no evidence of forcible molestation was found. The official death certificates of both Barbara and Patricia would list their cause of death as being murder, the specific means of which in both cases was listed as being secondary shock. Secondary shock is the second one, resulting from the exposure to low temperatures, which had reduced each girl's body temperature below the critical level compatible with life. One of the coroners to perform the autopsies, Walter McCarran, surmised the sisters' bodies had lain undiscovered behind the guardrail on German Church Road for many days before their eventual discovery, stating that the bodies' markedly preserved condition, given the time interval between their disappearance and discovery, had been due to the frigid temperatures in the weeks prior to January 22nd, adding that this had been due to recent snowfalls and the frigid climate. McCarran also concluded the girls' bodies had lain undiscovered for more than 3 weeks because a layer of snow had blanketed the area on January 9th, and that this snowfall had rapidly melted in the days immediately prior to their discovery. Hi, Kathy Baker. Thank you for coming over. Got some new faces today. Hello, yep, trigger warning. Oofta. In addition to these facts, Gloss also stated that both girls had been subjected to sexual assaults throughout their period of captivity, adding that the autopsy conducted upon Patricia had discovered semen within the vaginal fluid swabbed from her body, and that curdled milk had also been found in Barbara's stomach, which she is not known to have drunk milk either at her home or at the cinema on the evening of December 28. So you guys, he more than likely kept them for a while, right? Hurt them, probably sexually assaulted them, maybe gave them milk just to stay alive. I don't know. What a sicko. Hi, Sissy2448. Oh, wow, Rock54. My daughter's birthday is also December 29. That's really cool. Did you know that Tattooed Angel, Becca's birthday is December 29? Yeah. Oh, gee whiz. The coroner Gloss said that he further asserted his opinion that the wounding and assault marks had been evidence that the girls had been beaten prior to their murder, and in tandem with the evidence of sexual activity were thus in line with the claims Bedwell provided to investigators in his January 1957 interrogations. So Bedwell was that official suspect in the case named Edward Bedwell, had been the individual who had committed the sisters' murders. But he was the one that said he was told to give a confession, right? Hi, the Kiki and Lily show. Hi, you guys. Thank you so much. Gloss would also claim that investigators had refused to disclose these and potentially other lurid details of the case due to a possible desire to protect the girls' reputations and or spare their mother's feelings. Similar allegations would be repeated in later years by others, some of whom claimed to have both seen the original case files and to have interviewed numerous McKinley Park residents who alleged both girls had been in the habit of spending free time outside bars on 36th Street and Archer Avenue, where they regularly persuaded older men to purchase alcoholic drinks to be delivered to them outside the premises. I don't believe it. I mean, maybe, but I just don't really think the older sister would bring her 13-year-old daughter along to do that kind of thing. So I'm just going to say I don't believe that. Ugh. But the investigators connected to the case continued to insist that there had been no evidence of either girl being disreputable or the recipient of extreme violence or sexual molestation prior to her death. After refusing to retract his statements, Gloss was fired by Coroner Walter E. McCarran on February 15th, although Gloss would insist his firing had been politically motivated. Nonetheless, Gloss would later be deputized by Sheriff Joseph D. Lohman, who concurred with Gloss's conviction the girls had likely been beaten and tortured by a sexual predator who had lured them into his vehicle upon an innocent pretense to continue to work on the case without pay. So it was 25 days later their bodies were found. So these are possible sightings. One says the sisters allegedly alighted at Western Avenue approximately halfway between the theater and their home at approximately 11:05 p.m. Why the sisters would exit the bus at Western Avenue is unknown. Said the girls were boarding. Numerous people stated to investigators they had seen the girls boarding a Chicago Transit Authority bus on Archer Avenue heading east into the city after the screening. Those who reported this sighting to police included the bus driver, you guys. A young man named Roger Menard informed investigators he had also attended the December 28th screening of Love Me Tender, having sat behind Barbara and Patricia Grimes and close to Weinert. According to Menard, he had left the theater approximately 1 minute before the sisters, who had walked down Archer Avenue a short distance behind him before a late model green Buick had stopped alongside them. The girls hesitated before continuing walking, just past 42nd Street, with the sisters by the stage walking ahead of him. Oh, you're kidding. So first that car pulls up, and then a black 1949 Mercury, occupied by two teenage boys, pulled alongside the girls, although they simply giggled before continuing walking in the direction of their home. Two teenage boys named Ed Lorden and Earl Zastro informed investigators that while they had been driving through McKinley Park at approximately 11:30 p.m. on December 28, they had seen the sisters on 35th Street. Reportedly, the two had been giggling and jumping out of doorways at each other near Sealy and Damon Avenues, with one youth exclaiming to the other that they were those two Grimes sisters as they passed them. At this point, the girls would have been approximately 2 blocks from their home. Oofta. Hi, Dollar. Hello. Hi, you guys. So you can plug your channel. How do we find it? Yeah, Truth Seeker. Type it in. Do you know you're like I'm at Paper Cut Tina 2332. So you more than likely have some numbers too. Or do they just type in Truth Seeker? Wow. A security guard named Jack Franklin later informed investigators he had offered directions to two girls on the morning of December 29, approximately 12 hours after they had left the theater. This verbal exchange had allegedly occurred near Lawrence and Central Park Avenues, and Franklin later concluded the girls had been the Grimes sisters, adding the sole reason he had recalled this conversation was that both girls had been both rude and abrupt to him. On the same date of Franklin's alleged sighting of Barbara and Patricia, a friend of Barbara's named Judy Burrow reported to investigators she had seen the sisters at approximately 2:30 p.m. walking westward on Archer Avenue, 2 blocks from Damon Avenue. A classmate of Patricia's named Catherine Borak was adamant she had seen Patricia walking past a restaurant. Borak had been inside the early evening of December 29. According to Borak, Patricia had been in the company of two unidentified young girls. This sighting was followed by another 6 hours later by a cashier at the Clark Theater in downtown Chicago who claimed she had seen both girls at 12:45 a.m. Another one, a railroad conductor named Bernard Norton, reported seeing the two girls aboard a train near the Great Lakes Naval Training Center in north suburban Glenview. According to Norton, the two girls had been searching for two sailors named Terry and Larry. Oh my goodness, you guys. On December 30th at 5:40 a.m., the owner of the D&L restaurant at 1340 West Madison said he had seen both girls, with Patricia apparently too drunk or too sick to walk without staggering. But remember, well, when they were killed anyway, those contents weren't in their bodies, but that doesn't mean they weren't before, right? Right? Alcohol or being drugged or something. Accompanied by the official suspect, Edward Bedwell, this location was over 5.5 miles from the Brighton Theater. A clerk at the Claremont Hotel, after viewing the bodies at a mortuary, likewise identified the sisters as having checked into the hotel on this date. So that was December 30th. Then on January 1st, the girls were reported as having been seen aboard a Chicago Transit Authority bus on Damon Avenue. And then the following week, a night clerk at the Unity Hotel on West 61st Street refused two girls a room because of their age. This clerk believed the girls in question had been the Grimes sisters. January 3rd, 3 employees at an Englewood Cressage department store claimed to have seen both girls listening to music at the store's record counter. Each employee stated the sisters had been listening to music by Elvis Presley. Gosh. Adding credence to the theory that both sisters had run away to Nashville on January 17, a woman named Pearl Neville contacted investigators to state she had met both girls in a Nashville restroom on January 9 and that she had accompanied them to a state employment agency to search for work. According to Neville, both girls had been in what she described as being a tired, bedraggled condition. A clerk at this agency would later identify the sisters from photographs, also recalling that both girls had used the surname Grimes in the application forms they had populated. Wow, you guys. Hi, Jean Warren. Hi, you guys. Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming over today. That's really nice of you. Will you guys hit the like? Will you guys remember to subscribe if you haven't? I'm only, what am I, 11 or 13, or I think it's 11 now, away from, I think it's 11. I think I had 189, or 789. I'm 11 away from 800, and that's my goal. And then my goal, my goal is 1,000 subs to get monetized or whatever. Hi, the real Piscine Predator. Thank you. Aw, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Good luck for you too. You'll be on longer than me. There's a creator out there. There's talk. I'm not going to say who it is, but they want her to stay on longer than me, and they're calling in and doing whatever. I know, Jean, the kittens are too adorable. They're so funny at this age. And they had a little bit of water once my son came to the door, and I was going to end it anyway, so the timing was okay. But yeah, they're really funny. Like, everything's new to them, right? Their mama's tail, and hilarious. Thank you so much, the real Piscine Predator, coming in. I think you'll be on there for a while. You're doing fabulous. You're very personable. I try to be. Okay, so I've been reading depressing stories like all week, just mysteries from the 40s, 50s, 70s. I don't know what they're about. Nearly all of them I've never heard of. I've cried some days. I've just got done swearing 15 minutes ago. I mean, it's not funny, but... And now these two sisters were murdered in 1957 after seeing Love Me Tender. Gosh. Film. And their murderer or murderers have never been really found. Prosecuted, nothing. Okay, so in the early hours of January 14, their bodies were found on January, what, 22nd, was it now, or the 25th? Anyway, the parents of a classmate of Patricia Grimes named Sandra Tollson received two separate anonymous telephone calls. During the first call, nobody at the other end spoke. Picking up the second phone call approximately 15 minutes later, Sandra's mother, Ann, heard a frightened and depressed young female voice asking, "Is that you, Sandra? Is Sandra there?" Before Ann could bring her daughter to the phone, the call was terminated. Mrs. Tollson informed investigators of her conviction that the caller had been Patricia Grimes. Wow, you guys. Following the January 19 television and radio appeal by Elvis Presley, he appealed on television too, imploring the sisters to return home. Chicago Sun-Times advice columnist Ann Landers received an anonymous letter allegedly written by a girl who claimed to have witnessed the sisters being forced into a car by a young male on the night of their disappearance, although a partial license number was provided with this letter. Subsequent police endeavors to trace the vehicle proved fruitless. The author of this letter was never identified, and the actual contents were never authenticated. Wow. So this Edward Bedwell, Thank you. Thank you, the Kiki and Lily show. I hope it's a fun night tonight. It will be. Again, like I keep saying this, but I feel really relaxed about it. And honestly, like I shouldn't be like this. I should think positive, but I'm expecting to be voted off. I mean, I had a lot of love, a lot of saves, a lot of sweet people calling. And when people would call like from the South, I was like, oh boy, here's a vote to save Huntress or kick me off, right? And a lot of them were to save PCT or save me. It was really nice. But you know, the fact I'm even up there with what is it, 26 people, or is it 16 now? Or I thought it was 26. I don't know. Is an honor and a blessing. Truly, truly, truly. You know, I'm happy about it. And hi, Tony. Hi. Hi, Amanda Richardson. Thank you. Yeah, you guys hit the like. Another depressing story. Tony, about a 16 and a 13-year-old sister went to see Love Me Tender film for like the 12th time. Decided to stay for the matinee or the more evening one. Apparently, supposedly got into a car with a guy. Maybe the 16-year-old knew the person. Maybe the person's from her high school. I don't know, but their bodies were found over a guardrail. You know, dead. And they still don't have justice. Gosh. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you so much, hon. Hi, FGTEEV Wolf. Hi. Oh, wow. I know. It's just depressing. It's depressing. And, you know, not to be morbid, but here's a picture. (1957). It's not too graphic, but that's them. That's the older one, and that's the younger one right there. The father had to go there and identify them. They're both naked, which is like beyond demoralizing. They were both sexually assaulted in the autopsies. It's just, I don't know. Hideous. Okay, so, oh, it's 6:05 in 25 minutes, Turtle Island. So what I'm going to do is read this last little part. I just read the different sightings of the girls. I believe now they were held at a motel. I believe they were drugged and whatnot in the earlier times. I mean, the earlier days before they were killed. But yet the coroner said they were killed within 5 hours of leaving the theater. But this is an awful lot of sightings. And I just don't think all of them could be wrong. I mean, granted, it's Chicago and people look like people, but there were two of them. The Grimes with an S sisters. Boarding buses, walking around disheveled, possibly even ending up in Tennessee at one point. Maybe they were being sex trafficked, you guys. So this Edward Bedwell, who says that he was coerced into interrogated and all this into making a confession, says that Edward Lee Benny Bedwell was a 21-year-old semi-literate drifter, originally from Tennessee, who had been evicted from his family's East Garfield Park home in November 1956. And in the weeks preceding the Grimes sisters' murder, had occasionally earned money by working as a part-time dishwasher in a Chicago Skid Row restaurant. Bedwell was a tall individual who allegedly bore a strong resemblance to Elvis Presley. Somebody at the theater said that was sitting behind the Grimes sisters saw them get into like a Mercury car with a man that looked like Elvis. Wow, you guys, maybe it is him. According to John and Minnie Duros, the owners of the restaurant where Bedwell had been employed, he and another young male had been at her premises in the company of two girls who physically resembled the Grimes sisters in the early morning of December 30. So they went to the movie on the 28th. So this was over, what, a day and a half later? Or no, 2 days later. Duros conveyed this information to police on January 24th. Bedwell was arrested thereafter and subjected to interrogation for 3 days. Initially, Bedwell was insistent that John and Minnie Duros and patron named Renee Eccles, who had corroborated the Duros' witness statements, were mistaken in their identification of the girls he had been in the company of on December 30. However, he was formally charged with the sisters' murders on January 27, 1957, having signed a 14-page confession in which he said that he and a 28-year-old acquaintance named William Cole Willingham had indeed been in the company of the Grimes sisters on December 30. He stated that they were together until January 7, typically drinking in various West Madison Street Skid Row saloons. According to Bedwell, after several days in the girls' willing company, shortly after he and his companion had fed the sisters hot dogs, they had extensively beaten both girls before throwing their nude bodies into a snow-filled ditch when both sisters had refused their sexual advances. Upon reading Bedwell's confession, Loretta Grimes was quoted as stating, "It's a lie. My girls wouldn't be on West Madison Street. They didn't even know where it was." Well, unless they brought him there, but I doubt they went into bar. Who's going to serve the 13-year-old? You know what I mean? Willingham admitted he had been in the company of Bedwell and two girls in the early hours of December 30, but denied the girls had been the Grimes sisters. He also emphatically denied any involvement in the murders. Bedwell himself would later recant the confession he had provided to investigators, stating that he had only provided a confession after being held in custody for 4 days in the mistaken belief the police would subsequently release him if he did so. The autopsy reports upon both girls also supported Bedwell's recantation, as no alcohol or hot dogs were found in either victim's blood or digestive systems, nor had the girls been beaten to death. Furthermore, Bedwell is also known to have been clocked in at Ajax Consolidated Company, his place of employment, from 4:19 p.m. on December 28, 1956 to 12:30 a.m. on December 29, covering the most likely time of the sisters' abduction, with further records confirming Bedwell had been working in Sierra on the date he said he had murdered them. On February 6, Bedwell was freed on $20,000 bond paid for by an individual from Champaign. The same year of his acquittal, Bedwell would be tried and acquitted of the 1956 rape of a 13-year-old girl in Oak Hill, Florida. He died in November 1972. Weird. Max Fleig, F-L-E-I-G. Max Fleig was a 17-year-old suspect in the sisters' murders, initially considered one of the prime suspects due to his age. Fleig was protected by contemporary Illinois laws that prevented juveniles from subjection to polygraph tests. Nonetheless, Chicago Police Captain Ralph Patak persuaded the teenager to submit to an unofficial polygraph test, which Fleig voluntarily undertook. In the course of this unofficial polygraph test, Fleeg allegedly confessed to the murders. With no legal means of using this test as evidence against Fleeg, police were forced to release him without charge. In addition, police were unable to charge Fleeg with the murders due to there being a lack of physical evidence corroborating his confession that he had kidnapped and subsequently killed the sisters. Fleeg was later jailed for the unrelated murder of a young woman. Goodness sakes. Yeah. Destiny, not feeling great tonight. Maybe from rainy, cold weather. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we had to do our first block. Yeah, they, what's his name? Joran Vanderboot, or I don't know. Now I can't remember. Confessed to killing her. And they're pretty darn sure. I listened to the written, right? Confession on court TV, and it sounded very, very sort of plausible and real. He was like, yeah, and then we did this, and then we did that, and I guess he took a big boulder or stone or something and ended her life there on the beach. Thank you so much. Yeah, even if you get voted off, someone could vote you back on with one of those eggs. The game is unpredictable. Yeah, I forgot about that part. Oh, goodness. Oh. Tony, even if you don't really like kittens like that much, they're really flippin' cute. On my earlier video, it'll make you laugh. They're hopping around backwards and attacking their mama's tail and touching and sniffing. They're out of the pup tent. There it is. Orion Vandersloot, finally in jail here, admitted to those poor parents, can finally heal. Yeah. She knows, you know. I mean, she knows there'll be no remains. But what if it was like tethered to a cinder block? I would want more details. It sounds like she was just thrown over. Wasn't tied to something to weigh her down. Even those can come up eventually. I mean, good for her, really. You know what I mean? 18 years, you guys. Like I said on Jimmy's panel last night, it felt like, I don't know, 10 years to me. Like I just didn't feel like 18. Hi, Yvonne. Thank you. Thank you. Do I have good vibes? I saw it, doll. You're so funny. Nobody's ever called me doll. Ever. Any of my boyfriends, any of my ex-husband I married twice, never called me doll. Darren, my past one of nearly 8 years, never called me doll. I think it's cute. Yo, not bragging about the kitties, but totally bragging because they're just that cute. Oh, it's really cold down in Kentucky. Yeah, I'm in t-shirts now, and I got the window partway open and the fan blowing some, and it gets warm in the house, you know. Okay, so, oh, you guys, so Turtle Island is going to start in 15 minutes, so I'm going to keep reading. I'm one of a kind, beautiful. Yes, you are, Tony, you are. I personally, someone that was talking crap about, blocked panel last night. People are so ugly. Yeah. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you for the compliments and stuff. I wasn't going to do this. I said no to Team Rose 10 million times. You can ask her. She blurted out. But the kittens were born, and they weren't expected because we thought the mama kitty was a male. And when we got the kitten, it's a full-fledged Maine Coon. And the daddy is a tiger striped tabby. And that's why they're brown and black. And oh, it's not till 10 he changed it, Michelle? Okay. Oh, till 10? That's 7 my time. Okay, so yeah, extra half hour. So now an extra, well, it's almost 6:20, so 40 minutes. Oh. Well, they might be jealous, some of them, and I just had so much fun going on panel, and it was just a whole different experience for me, and I became kind of addicted to it, and then I just like kept going up every night so that he would like expect it. He would be surprised to see me. I don't have lipstick on my tooth, do I? It's 8:18 here, Amanda Richardson. Okay, it's 6:18 here. We stand with PCT, hashtag. Thank you, Destiny. Hi, peace, love, and life. Hey. Hey, guys and gals. Okay, I'm going to read about Walter Kranz, Kranz. I guess another kind of suspect. Let's find out. Walter Kranz, a 53-year-old steam fitter and self-proclaimed psychic, phoned a switchboard operator at Chicago's Central Police Complaint Room on January 15 to inform the operator of his conviction that both sisters were deceased and that their bodies could be found in an unincorporated area of Lyons Township. Kranz refused to disclose his name to the operator in this phone call, simply stating that he had experienced this revelation in a dream before terminating the call. Nonetheless, the operator was able to trace the call to a location close to his home. The park described by Kranz in his telephone call would prove to be approximately 1 mile from the true location where the girls' bodies would be just found 1 week earlier. When questioned, Kranz informed police that several members of his family and ancestors possessed psychic powers, and that he had experienced this particular vision after a night of heavy drinking. I'm sorry. If you're going to be that wasted, are you going to have psychic abilities? That's funny. Dumpling came in, I believe, one time, sometime last week, maybe I don't know. When was it? It was a few days back, which was really nice of her to say hi, but I haven't, and then she was last evening, I think during the Uncensored show, in chat, or it could have been an earlier show of Jimmy's, I'm not sure. Thank you, I am new to chatting. Yeah, Yvonne, I thought to chat you had to pay money, like you had to subscribe. I mean, you had to become a member to chat. I didn't know you could just chat, not even subscribe. That's how new all of this stuff is to me. Oh, good. No lip srick on my teeth. I got them bonded. Remember? I had a crack here and here from eating those gosh darn Tootsie Roll Pops. I'll suck them for a while, but then when they get so soft and hard, you want to bite into them. I did. Now I looked in the mirror, I don't know, could have been days later, and they were both like at a slight angle. And honestly, it made me look a little bit older. But then I was scared. I hate the dentist, but I watched a little film of a teenager getting it done, and what you doing, Poops? Are you Mama Kitty? Are you Mama Kitty? And it really didn't look that bad at all. It's just like a shot, in the roof of your mouth, and it took a good hour, and I had to like breathe through my nose. I would never want to do it again. The bummer is I love carameled apples. I always get one at the fair, and I'm being told I shouldn't bite into those or corn on the cob again. So I'm just not. I could. Maybe I'll buy some anyway and I'll cut off a piece. That's what I'll do. I'll take a knife and cut off a piece because I just love carameled apples, you guys. Who likes carameled apples in chat? That and the sausage and sauerkraut and onion and green pepper on those big sausage grinders. Oh my gosh, those are so good. And of course, elephant ears, and of course, the curly fries. Can you tell I didn't make it to the fair this year? When we lived in Linden, which is 21 minutes from here, when my son was small, we could just walk downtown and go to the fair. I mean, it cost money. That was in the 90s, so not, I think it was like $4 or $5 for an adult. Now it's like, what, 30? It's ridiculous. I love them. Love caramel. I know. Yeah, I think back, I mean, I was like 5. I remember my mom melting the tons of marshmallows in butter, right? And then mixing it in with the popcorn and making homemade popcorn balls. Yep, have a ton of apples this year. I just bought caramel dip tonight. We have a ton of apples this year, Yvonne. Oh, that's so nice. Caramel apple suckers, yes, but the real thing, no. Yeah, caramel apple suckers are good too. But you notice when you get down to the end, you're sucking on the sucker. It gets so thin that it'll adhesive to the, it'll go and kind of stick to the roof of your mouth. It's the weirdest darn thing. Yeah, I need to buy some of those. Now look what you have me doing. Kids, my tongue was hurting and lips look like balloons. I ate so many Sour Patch Kids. That's funny. I don't like that stuff very much. You know what candy I cannot stand are Skittles. They're so sweet, they hurt my tongue. They're not even that fun to eat. I just don't like them at all. I hate Skittles. And I don't really like gummy worms. I don't like the way they look. I don't like, and so gummy bears, I don't know. What are you doing? You're so funny. He's letting me pet him and he's tipping his head all the way back and she looking at me. Oh, this cat is so funny. Okay, so that made me laugh. This Walter Kranz, was it Walter? Yeah, Walter Kranz said after being, he experienced the particular vision after a night of heavy drinking. Although initially considered by police to be their number one suspect in the murders, and with handwriting experts also determining he may have written a ransom note received by the girl's mother prior to the discovery of her daughter's bodies. Good grief, you guys, what some people go through. Kranz denied any involvement in the sisters' abduction and murder. After being subjected to multiple interrogations, he was released. Wow, this is kind of sad. This is called the aftermath of this story. Whoops. Oh, yeah, see? The fair is expensive. And honestly, like, I went once with bananas and fresh cherries and I think even little sandwiches like with bologna and whatever, and and we had money to buy lemonade, but I'll tell you what, it's like I really wanted, I mean, my son was really small then, my daughter wasn't born yet, so he didn't really know. He wasn't like, no, I want a hot, he wasn't a complaining even kid like that, you know what I mean? But I told myself, I'm going to have money for the food anytime I go to, because you're smelling it the whole time, right? You're smelling it. Hi, Wiccan. Hi. I love baklava. Are those hot dog things? Those sausage hot dog things? Tony, name her Jules Tina. What? Oh, the mother kitty, Jules? Oh, dollop. That's the first, and you're laughing. Did I say the word dollop? You haven't heard that in a long time, huh? Oh, Swedish fish. I have a big thing, you guys. Big ass container of red licorice that's been in my closet now for like 2 months. And every now and then I'll get a craving and I'll grab 4 of the vines or whatever they're called and I'll mow them down. But then I'm just like licoriced out and I've got to wait like another month. Yeah. Yeah, don't forget to call in, you guys, and save me. Save me, save me, save me. I was like kind of trying to add on paper 1, 2, 3, 4 line, and I had at least 30 saves. Now I don't, those weren't quite all phone calls, right? But there were some saves I saw up on the super chats. Like one lady did, is it $10 was one save in super chat. I don't think it's equals 2 for 5, but that might be a different area. I don't know. You guys will get the rules. I can't keep the money thing straight, but that's really nice, you guys. But I got a lot of calls of saying, but people were nice. Like they were nice. I thought they were nice. I mean, these ladies, 2 or 3 were like, yeah, I hate to do it, but I got to vote off PCT. One said, yeah, I have nothing against her, nothing against you, PCT. In fact, Jones N called in. Pretty sure. Yeah, I heard her voice, and she said, nothing against you, PCT, or your channel, but I'm voting you off. So, yeah, I need help, you guys. I need help. It was very, 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 very close last time. Like, so every single person that can sit there tirelessly and just hit those buttons, like when I call in, I'm actually going to call in and save Rebel. That's what I'm going to do. Now, if I was allowed to call in and save myself, like in the past, like people kind of did, like Team Rose did once, and then I did, but that's not allowed anymore, and I understand. But if I could, I'd be calling to save myself. But I'm not, so I'm going to save Rebel. He may not need saving. He needed a little bit of saving last time, so more than likely he does. But he's got a lot of really good support. Let me see. Okay, Aftermath. Wow, this is like really good timing. It's 6:30. He's going to go live now in wait, you said at 10? Oh yeah, so that'll be yeah. Yeah, it's 9:30 the Eastern time. In the weeks between the disappearance and subsequent discovery of her daughter's bodies, Loretta Grimes was unable to work and thus earn money to raise her children and pay the mortgage upon her home. Friends and neighbors of the Grimes family, plus classmates and teachers of the sisters, organized various initiatives to raise funds for the family. Additional funds would be raised via the local press and council, with the donations raised via all various methods ranging from 50 cents to $500. Consequently, all funds raised would enable the Grimes family to both pay the remaining mortgage on their home and bury Barbara and Patricia's bodies. Hi, Jovalicious. I'm crying again. headphone guy. No, you can't call in to save yourself anymore. He changed the time again. Can I kick it? Hi, Demetrius. Demetrius is the headphone guy. I guess what's affecting me so much is they were sisters. And they did everything together. Hi, Anna. I mean, I used to ride my bike at age 10 in Vermilion, South Dakota at night. It was pitch black. And I didn't really like doing it, but I wasn't afraid of anything. I wasn't told there were boogeymen out there, bad people. I'd never heard the word rape. Frankly, I never heard the word murder, not even in school. Like, I'm not even kidding. And I was never talked to about it. I was never exposed to it on TV. I was never, you know what I mean? Because we would just watch with my dad and my sister. Little House in the Prairie. An Emergency. Anyway, I would ride my bike in the dark all the way across town. It took 10, 15 minutes on a Thursday night. I remember it was Thursday. And I would go to baton twirling classes in this big gym. I don't know how long I did it. I don't know if I did it a few weeks. I don't know if I did it 1 month. I don't think it was a whole year. But, you know, and I used to ride my bike at age 10, you know, like a lot of us, all the way across town to the outdoor swimming pool a lot. And I always got a little bag of corn nuts. I think they were 10 cents or something in the 1972. I would have been 10. Oh my God, dollar. Thank you, Judy T. Hi, Judy T. Welcome. Yeah, I just can't help it, you guys. Like, I think the emotions, they're bubbling on a surface of sadness, fear, grief for these parents. Oh, God. You guys hear that? I was almost kidnapped by 2 guys. My boyfriend at the time saved me. We were walking from my house to his. See? Shit happens. Tony, I can't do tears. It makes me cry too. You got this, Megan. Thank you. Tina, okay, I had to use the bathroom. I came back to. Hi, Jovalicious. Thank you for coming over, all of you. Oh, good grief, you guys. Demetrius hates it when I cry too. He might have even already left. Did you leave, Demetrius? Don't leave. Will you call in? Demetrius has called in last Sunday for me, sat there and called in. And the week before, he sat there and called in. Tony, will you call in and save me? Every little vote matters, every single one. Look at me. I'm like, empathy is cathartic. Tina, I just got a notification too. For what? If you guys haven't noticed, I wasn't going to bring it up, but I'm gonna. If my eyes look a little more tired or peak it even, I don't have my false eyelashes on. I have eyeliner, quite darn thick, but they were history. I couldn't even get them to adhesive anymore. And they just sort of brighten my eyes more, you know. But I'm going to have to do this until I can get more. I can't ever get through. I'll pay to save you. It's so funny, Destiny. If you want. Thank you. Do you have to call in to vote, or is there another way to vote? Tony, no, I'm kicking you so you can come home. Oh, the battery's so low. It says low battery. No, you guys, is it a 10 whole bucks for one vote, or is it $5 for one vote? I'm thinking like if you pay 20, you get 4 votes. If you pay 10, you get 1 vote. I'm thinking, but I don't know. See, how many votes did my 10 get you last week? Wow, thanks, Jovalicious. I want to say 1, but maybe it was 2. In the very beginning, $5 was, right? Wait, if you buy an egg, you get 5 votes. Those eggs are 25, right? So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You get 5 votes. Does anyone know? 20 is 5 votes? Is it really, Tony? That's nice. So 10 is 1 vote and a 20 is 5? Thank you, Wiccan. Thank you. Need some herbals because of my nose. It gets dry and it gets, you know. Now, I don't have allergies. I've never really had them. You know what I mean? He's going to start in 20 minutes. Okay, so let me read this. So, following a wake held in the girl's memory on January 25th, and a holy mass conducted at St. Maurice Church, Barbara and Patricia Grimes were laid to rest at the Holy Sepulchre Cemetery, Sepulchre, C-H-R-E, I don't know, cemetery in Alsip, Illinois, on January 28th. All fees for the service were waived by the Wohlschlager Funeral Home, and the sisters are buried side by side. Among those to serve pallbearers at this service were classmates of Barbara's. Oh, good grief. Freaking ridiculous. In May of 1957, okay, so this is 4 months later, or February, March, April, May. 3 or 4 months later, after laying their daughters to rest, Loretta Grimes received an anonymous telephone call from an individual who claimed to have undressed and killed her daughters. Although the Grimes family had received numerous hoax phone calls following the girls' disappearance, this particular caller, having ridiculed police efforts to affix blame upon suspects, such as Edward Bedwell, ended his phone call with information indicating he may indeed have been the perpetrator. Oh my God. I know something about your little girl that no one else knows, not even the police. The smallest girl's toes were crossed at the feet. This caller then laughed before terminating the call. Oh, bastard. 1 year after the murder of her daughters, Loretta Grimes publicly stated her conviction her daughters had been murdered by an individual they had known, stating that although the weather had been bitterly cold on the night of their abduction, Barbara and Patricia would never have entered a vehicle driven by an individual unknown to them, regardless of any discomfort. Joseph Lohman, the Cook County Sheriff, who strongly believed the Grimes sisters had been beaten, tortured, and murdered by a sexual predator who had lured them into a vehicle on the evening of their disappearance, died of natural causes in 1969. So that county sheriff died in 1969. At the time of his death, Lohman was the dean of the School of Criminology in Berkeley. On the 18th anniversary of the disappearance of the Grimes sisters, Ernest Biotto, the sole detective who had been involved in the investigation of the girls' murders from the very beginning and who had remained assigned to the investigation, again announced to the media the police had no credible suspects in the case. Officially, the murders of the Grimes sisters remain unsolved, although this is an open case. The Grimes sisters' younger brother, James Grimes, who was just 11 at the time of his sister's murder, stated in 2013 that he welcomed what he saw as a public reopening of the case, stating, "I just assumed it was never going to be solved, but maybe there's hope." Unofficial investigation. In 2013, a retired West Chicago police officer named Raymond Johnson began a personal investigation into the case. Johnson, considered by many to be an expert on this case, had become interested in the Grimes sisters case in 2010 when he had been researching a book he had been writing about the city's history. Having extensively researched the case, Johnson has stated his conviction that the case is still solvable one, but only with public assistance, and that he believes that the perpetrator of this crime had been a 23-year-old self-confessed child killer named Charles Leroy Melquist, who had been considered a suspect in the sisters' abduction and murder in 1957. I don't think I heard that name yet, you guys. Or did I say it earlier? If you send through Cash App or Venmo, you get more votes than sending through Super Chat. Okay. Wait, $20 gets you 3 votes. Damn, that's steep. He's changed it. It is very expensive. $20 is 3 votes, says Debbie. Make sure mods change their chat from top chat to all messages. How do they do that? Yeah, and honestly, you guys, in Turtle Island, the mods like his sister Jeannie and other people will type in, so I'll give you he's going to start 15 minutes. I'm almost done reading this. It's beyond perfect timing. Melquist had been convicted of the September 1958 murder of a 15-year-old girl named Bonnie Lee Scott, whom he had known prior to her murder, and whose, trigger warning, decapitated body had been found 2 months after her disappearance, less than 10 miles from where the Grimes sisters' bodies had been discovered. Following the discovery of Scott's body, investigators had noted similarities in this murder and body disposal and that of the Grimes sisters. Nonetheless, Melquist was never questioned as to his potential culpability in the Grimes sisters' murders, as his attorney had forbidden him to be subject to questioning. The day after the body of Bonnie Lee Scott was discovered, Loretta Grimes received a phone call from an individual. The day after her body was discovered, this was in 1958, who on this occasion claimed responsibility for Scott's murder. On this occasion, the caller had stated, "I've committed another perfect crime. This is another one those cops won't solve, and they're not going to." Loretta Grimes would remain adamant until her death. This caller had been the same individual who had contacted her in May of 1957 and had revealed the deformity upon one of her daughter's feet, which had never been released to the press or the public, stating, "I will never forget that voice." Charles Melquist was never charged with his alleged involvement in the deaths of the Grimes sisters. He died in 2010. What a freaking sicko. But I want to see what he looks like really bad. This is their little burial site. This is the older one, the 16-year-old Barbara. What was the other one named? Patricia was 12, not 13. And she just so I don't have to go back and look or show the people that came in later. That's the older sister, that's the youngest. Oh, God, you guys. What was the name? Charles Melquist. And when I'm done with this, well, I mean, is this him? Let's see. A noted psychiatrist urged authorities Wednesday to quiz Charles Melquist, confessed killer, about the slayings of the Grimes sisters. I think that something Grime Killer has found, he will be the same type of person as Charles Melquist. Pattern of mental behavior in his admissions of perverted sexual dreams indicated that he is an obsessive compulsive something slashing diagnosis, something studied a copy of his confession, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so he had long sideburns, the carefully waved hair, and the fast, hot rod manner in which he drove his car all showed he was trying to prove himself manly to the girls. A friend of Melquist reported the murderer often viewed as many as 3 such films in an evening on Elvis. Yeah, frankly, you guys, I don't know. I think he did it. Think about it. He knew that the littlest girl's 2 tiniest toes, right? So that would be these 2. Whoops, were crossed. Or whatever, like that, or maybe like that. Gosh darn it. Anyway, that was never disclosed. They never got damn justice. And apparently, it's this guy who died. Did they say in 2010 he died? Maybe his face is cleaned up there. I don't really see a beard. See, this is what I was reading just now. Quiz Charles confessed killer about the slaying. I think that when the Grimes killer found, he will be the same type of person as Charles Melquist. So that was the little writing. was ladies' man. Mental behavior and his admissions that perverted sexual dreams indicated that he is an obsessive compulsive whatever freaking maniac. And if it is him, I hope he rots in hell. Okay, on that rotting in hell note, let's go over to Jimmy's, to Turtle Island. Anyone has the time to call in and save my ass? Thank you. All right, I'm going to say goodbye. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you on Turtle Island. I love each and every one of you. I know that's what we all say, but I do. Thank you for coming over to I Don't Give a Shit, but I do, about true crime, just not cyberbullying. The hate against me ever, I don't care anymore. You know what I mean? All right, you guys. I love you. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Hit the like. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I want to reach 800 tonight. If I could reach 800 by midnight, that midnight my time, which is 3 a.m. Eastern time, I'd be very happy. But I'm happy anyway. All right. Love you guys. Oops.